What's going on, everyone? It's Bales and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk video ahead of the first of the mid-season buys, round 12. Obviously, big week this one. We get 3 trades this week, so obviously it's good to have an extra trade this week, but it's a bit of a hard week this week. Obviously, every player you bring in is going to have a buy, so it'll be a lot of coaches can go in a lot of different directions in this week of the season. And this is a very team-dependent week as well. So it will be interesting to see how everyone does go with their trades. Obviously, best 18 this week. 4 teams on the bye, being Brisbane, GWS, Sydney, and North Melbourne. So those 4 teams be on bye, but we will try and target some other players from those other teams. So let's get stuck into the most traded in-out players. But as always, before we do, make sure you smash a big thumbs up on the video. So, you guys accepted the challenge last week of 200. It was upwards of 220. So, thank you guys very much for doing that. The goal this week, 250. So, let's get to 250 likes on this video. Last week, we had 223. So, we need an extra 27 of you legends to smash a like on the video. But let's get to 250 likes. And also make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're nearly at 2350. Obviously, closing in on 2,500. Obviously, 3K is the goal by the end of the season. So, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. So, most traded in-out players for the week. So, no surprises. I'm going to bunch these two together. Kane McAuliffe and Joel Frazier. I think if you don't have either of them, I think that they're going to be the most common duo of players to bring in this week. Because it's an easy sort of go 2 rookies down to these guys. And you've got so McAuliffe's the most trade-in, 500 more people or so I've got on him instead. 292, break-even, -5. Obviously, great break-even. I think he's going to be in the team at least till the bye with those injuries at Richmond. And then you got Joel Frazier's a tiny bit more expensive at, what, 315? I want to say, yeah, -3 break-even as well. Looking really good. Obviously, playing in Jason Johannisson's role. It seems to be. I think he's going to be out at least until the bye. So I think both are really good options. They're going to make good cash up until their buys. So I think if you don't have either, I'd be bringing both in. Obviously, if you've got one, a lot of people did jump on a Frazier last week instead of a Richards, which obviously you'd have an extra number. That light just flickered then. No idea why. Anyway, if you've got one of these two, Harvey Harrison, I think, is your next bet. 7,500 coaches jumped on him, and I think a lot of those coaches will either be triple downgrading or have already got one of those first 2. Break even to 7. Looked pretty good last week. Scored 88. I think he looked good against the Crows as well. No, he didn't actually. He only got 24. I thought there was a game recently that he did, but no, he was obviously sub here. Played a game, only got 44. Sub again, or he got subbed. Oh, no, hang on. He got subbed out against West Coast, actually. Or he got injured and didn't play. And then, I can't remember if he was a sub in this game or not. I can't remember. But he had a full game last week, which is good, and scored an 88, so he's probably your next bet. He's not going to be a huge scorer, but I think when we're sort of bereft of options, I think you've got to go a guy like Harvey Harrison if you've got one of those two. And obviously if you're triple downgrading, these are the 3 you're going to be looking at. Will Day's next. Don't mind him. Round 15 buy is good, so worst case, you can keep him until his buy and flick him onto a sort of a bigger premium. But he's also a guy that you could potentially keep past his buy because we know what he can do. So I don't mind it. A few tricky games, and he's got the Crows, and he's got Brisbane. Played Brisbane last week. He's got the Giants, I think, the week after, and then he goes into Richmond. So good 3 matchups. So weird 3 matchups come, but I think Will Day can score well in all of them anyway. So I don't mind him. Jordan Ridley, 4K jumping on him. We obviously spoke to Liam on the Q&A last night, being a Bombers fan, so make sure you guys do check that from last night. It was a good chat with Liam and Jordox, answering plenty of questions and talking about the buys. He was saying about Ridley, he'd probably want to see a little bit more, and he's a bit nervous with that sort of out of the sort of a big score out of one game. But I don't hate the idea of jumping on him. We know for a fact when he's not playing a key defensive role, he can score well. 76k, 57 break even. And yeah, when you've got Laverty there, you've got Mackay there. Maybe if Zach Reed comes in, I can't see him playing a key defensive role, so I don't mind bringing in Jordan Ridley, but not currently on my own shopping list, but I can see why coaches are looking at him. Joe Richards obviously was on the list, but we're going to probably talk about him almost in the trade out one. You don't normally see that, but obviously 3.6k haven't quite seen yet that Joe Richards isn't playing for next month. Obviously injury, so unfortunately with a negative 21 break even as well, he was going to be really handy to make some good cash, downgrade at his buy at like maybe 500k, and you could downgrade him, get yourself at least 200k, and then put that on top of someone. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I'm probably still going to hold him just in the hope that he comes back and makes cash post the buy, and then I can downgrade him later on. But then again, he might not get back in that team, so who knows? So I don't mind. Well, you can move him on. He's not going to be playing for a month, and you can always bring him back in. So, yeah, you can move him. Travis Boak's an interesting one. So 3,500 coasts are jumping on him. Obviously, new forward, gained his forward status, obviously, post round 12. Post round 11, sorry. 6, 7, 8k, cheap price. Got the good buy, round 13. The only thing I don't like is when you probably want to get a guy like him during the buys, you want to have good matchups. And Carlton is tough. Giants is tough. And Brisbane isn't really too easy either. So it's not a great run during the buys. But I think the risk is mitigated a bit because it's best 18. He's got the good buy. He's got a low break even. You might be able to make a little bit of cash out of him. And then post the buys, you can upgrade him to almost whatever forward you want. And if it fails, he's probably not going to count. He wouldn't count your best 18 anyway. So I don't hate the idea of bringing him in. He's looked good in the last few weeks with some good scores. Back-to-back tons. He got a 90 before that as well. And yeah, since he obviously came back from the injury as well, he's been pretty good. So I don't mind it. He's removing that game where he only played 39%. In every other game, he's gone over 75 all but once. And funny enough, it was against Richmond where he didn't do that. So I don't hate it. I think there are worse options for sure. Could be someone I'll look at maybe post next week or whatever, but not this week for my own team. Next, we'll go Alex Sexton. Yep, I still tick that off if you didn't jump on him. This is almost the last week probably you'd want to be jumping on him. 34 break even. It's more the fact that he's got the bye in 2 weeks. So a lot of people are going to offload him here. You could, depending on how he goes, you could hold post his bye. But yeah, you might want to offload by that point. And then the final two, Jack Crisp, Christian Salem. Obviously two pretty popular options that coaches are looking at. Obviously, Crisp has been great the last, month or so. He's, put 300s in a row and a 90, playing this midfield role. Time on ground's up. Tackles are up. And he only had 18 disposals, but he still got to a 105. So he's definitely got the ceiling. I don't mind it. I really don't. He's got the last buy, so worst case, you hold him to his buy, make some cash, and you'll be able to go him to an uber premium by that point. But then again, he's playing that well. Maybe they keep him in this role, and then he just stays in this role, and he becomes one of the top 6 defenders potentially. Because in this role, we know Jack Crisp can score with the best defenders. So I do like that. And then you got Christian Salem. Okay, he's cheap because of obviously the injured game. 639, 47 break even. It feels a bit not great because you missed the 133 last week. I think if you got him last week, because a few people were looking at him last week with the St Kilda matchup, then all of a sudden you got the 133 and you're laughing. A couple of games in his bye. You can still do it. I personally would feel like I've missed the score. Who knows what Salem's going to score against Freo, who can be tough. And then Collingwood are a good matchup though, so you could do it. I'm not going to talk you out of it if you want to get him. I'm probably not going to go there though. I guess just because I'm probably not in a position to need a defender that cheap. But if you are, you could definitely go there. Jordan Dawson, yep, like him as an option. Obviously, I went through the top 10, so just mentioned a few other names. Dawson, I like if you want to pay up. Obviously, this is the time of year where we can start paying up a little bit more for these players. Luke Ryan, yep, love it. Dacos as well, I really like him. And obviously, Gawn. If you haven't got one of those 4, you're going to need these 4 guys by the end of the year. So if you haven't got any of them, I'd be more than happy to pay up for him. Ryan probably is almost the best one just because he's got the round 13 bye, which I think if you're upgrading to a premium, you probably want to be going to a round 13 bye play just because obviously there's only Port and Freo on bye that week. So if you get Ryan, it's not going to hurt you too much and he'll help you this week, round 14 and 15, which are the other harder buys. Obviously, Dacos ran 15, Gawn and Dawson both got ran 14. So, and then, yeah, Clark, Holmes as well. I like both those guys. Probably Holmes a little bit more just because he's got Richmond this week, and I don't know, he just seems like the main guy back there. Whereas John Clark's got a Sydney matchup, I think, coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks. So he's going to get a tag. He's been good, but he's expensive now, so you are paying up for him. Whereas Holmes is still at a reasonable price, I think. Yeah, $8.25 for Jordan Clark there. Is Max Holmes, is he still... I don't actually know how much Max Holmes is, actually. How much is he? Is he reasonable or is he expensive? 877, actually quite expensive, yeah, because I still remember him being at like 780. So, yeah, it's really been those last few weeks. Obviously, he's got 4 tons in a row. Yeah, what was he? Where's his... Does it come up with his price each week? I thought normally it does. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, I can't remember what he was. Yeah, he went up 22k last week, probably 20 or 30k week before. So yeah, it was probably a few weeks ago. But yeah, I like him. Richmond this week, he's been really consistent. Only one score below 89, and that was an 81 in round 2 against the Crows. So he's been really good. So I like it if you want to go for a bit of a unique as well, because he's quite unique. So is Luke Ryan. Then again, Dawson is as well. So there's a few unique guys that you could jump onto. Most trade out players, let's move over to these guys. So Tom Power being traded by 8k, the number 1 trade out player of the week. Yeah, I can fully understand why he's on bye this week. So perfect time to offload him. He hasn't been good really since he got that 113 against Geelong. He's got 82, 34, 71, 77, 85 and 73. The last month aren't awful, but he just doesn't have the role to be a consistent scorer. Only 14 touches last week. He did have 25 and then 26 a few weeks before that. So, yeah, you can hold him, but I'm also all for trading him out. But he could be handy in rounds 14 and 15 if you were to hold this week. Hugo Garcia, yep, if he's not named, he can go. Joe Richards can obviously go. You might want to bring him back in if he gets named, obviously with a low break even, but he can go. Will Graham, if he doesn't get named, which I don't think he will, he can go as well. Blake Howes, the same thing. Harvey Thomas, obviously it's on his buy, so it's also a good time to offload a guy like him. Unless you're going to be short of numbers in the future buys, then you could realistically hold him and hope that he plays through there, but I'll be happy to trade. Whitfield's the interesting one. So Darcy Jones you can trade, who's the next one, but Lockie Whitfield is the interesting one. So normally I wouldn't want to trade like premiums that are going to be in and around the top 6, which Whitfield is one of them, right? He's been average the last month. Obviously, hard tag against Sydney, a decent tag against Essendon. Then he's gone back-to-back scores of 100 and then a 90, so not too bad. But his marks have been down the last month, 1, 1, 3 and 3, so not great. Obviously had, only one game below 7 in the first 6 games of the season that he had. So, and then you look at it's actually the draw, though, that concerns me. So, Hawthorn at UTAS is not too bad. Hawthorn are the type of team, though, that could put someone onto him. But then you've got Port. McEntee, I think, could go to him there, and they're already a tough matchup as it is. Sydney, James Jordan will go straight back to Whitfield again because it worked when they played. And then you've got Crows and Carlton. So that's not an easy run at all. It eases up from around 18 onwards, but this next month, not good. So I think I've probably got to keep him just for numbers moving forward, and it's probably not good for my team. But if you're in a really good position, you can offload Whitfield. I don't hate the idea of doing that because of the matchups, because he's not going to score well in these 2 games. It's just not going to happen. And when you need him in the best 18, but then again, a lot of people probably need just another number because some teams might be scraping for 18 or 19 in that last couple of buys just because of the few bullets that rookies have been dropped or injured or whatever the last few weeks. So I couldn't talk anyone out of trading Whitfield, but I'm probably not going to do it myself. Harry Sheezel, I wouldn't be offloading Harry Sheezel. He's looked good the last couple of weeks playing in the midfield. He's gone back-to-back tons, 106 against Port, who are the most restrictive side, and then a 119 against the Bombers, who also aren't that easy. Obviously, the back-to-back scores there were bad, but every other game's been over 100, so I wouldn't be looking at trading him. Obviously, I traded him when he was just under $1 million at 996 to go to Luke Ryan, banked me 120 odd K or whatever, and I've banked more points. But don't get it mistaken at all. I want Sheezel back in my side because he's going to be a top 6 defender. So I'll be looking to bring him back in post his buy at some point. So I wouldn't be trading. Tom Green, I wouldn't be trading either. People are going to bring him in next week. Windsor can go, Closey can go, McRae can go, definitely. Harley Reid can go. It's a lot of these guys can go. Cherry I probably wouldn't trade. This actually, the Cherry one and Grundy's probably somewhere here as well. Those two are probably team dependent for me. Depends how many numbers you got this week. Depends how many numbers you got in 14 and 15. But Cherry's averaging 103. Grundy's averaging 101. Like, they're not that far off of your Marshalls and your Gawns and whatever. So I wouldn't be in a rush to trade them. If it works for your team, yep, you can trade and go up to a Marshall. But I don't mind keeping them because they're going to be helpful in rounds 14 and 15. Like, I haven't even ruled out bringing in a Cherry for 2 weeks in round 14 just to get the numbers in that week, then offload him to someone else after. So that might be something I'll look at. But yeah, I wouldn't be in a rush to do it. But if it works for your team, you can. And I probably should have said with Harley Reid, I'm probably going to hold him, Saints and then North the next 2. And then the bye could be a couple of matchups where he takes full advantage of them. I think it's back-to-back games at Optus as well, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, back-to-back games at Optus. So, and we know that he is better at Optus, averaging nearly 71 there. Port was away. Giants at home, 56. Obviously, Giants are tough. Dogs, that was at Marvel. Then that was at Adelaide Hills. Richmond was that at Optus? I think that might have been, yeah. He scored an 81 at Optus, scored an 80. Then the Bombers was at Optus, he got a 55. Then Collingwood was in Melbourne. Melbourne was at Optus, so 82. So he's got a few 80s there. So I'd probably hold him for 2 weeks. But again, if you get the upgrade you want, you can offload. And then, yeah, like Jai Clark, Jordan, Fife, Dersma, Dempsey, Cadman, Lazaro, they can all go. Obviously, Dempsey could stay because he's got Richmond and he's not on bye, but they can all go. So, yeah, just obviously about culling those rookies, getting these upgrades and everything. So, my top 5 targets of the week, it's probably not going to shock anyone, but I've got McAuliffe and Fraser 1 and 2. I probably don't really have one over the other. It's just whichever one you don't have or just get both. So I'd almost have them sort of joint one and just sort of bring both in. Number 2, I would probably have, this is a very tough week to bring in players. I'd probably have Harvey Harrison at 2 just because if you've got the other 2, you need rookie downgrades. He's probably the next best one. So I'd have him at 2, but I don't obviously feel amazing about it. It's just such a hard week I'm trying to sort of think about everyone's team, not just sort of individual teams. Number 3, this is... I'd probably sneak maybe like a Luke Ryan in at number 3, just because I think he's going to be a top 3 defender. He's got the good buy. You can bring him in and it works. So I'd probably have him at 3. I'd probably have Sarong at 4. Again, just because the Freo, good buy. I like him. So I'll have him at 4. And then... Number 5, I'll probably put Jack Crisp at number 5. And he could arguably go above a couple of the expensive players just because I like the value. I like the role. The role could stay post the buys when everyone's back. But then again, I don't mind a Will Day. I don't mind a Boak if you're in that sort of situation there. Dawson, I'm happy to bring in. So it's such a hard week. So I've probably not settled on the top 5. I've probably just named a few that I like, but I think that the 2 rookies are the guys you need to get. If you don't have both, you need both by probably this week. Just to make that cash, guys that will play through the buys. Because they got the round 15 buy both of them as well, which is perfect. So, and you can offload them at their buys. So that's what I'd be doing with them. In terms of my trades for the week, I've got to fix the sweet R2. It sounds like he's not even going to play. Sounds like Soldo will be in, or best case it'll be a shared ruck role. So I'm actually looking at going a Will Graham if he's not named down to a Kane McAuliffe. I'm actually going technically it's Jordan Sweet down to Joel Fraser. And then I'll be going one of Jack McRae or Tom Powell up to Rowan Marshall. Feels dirty up bringing him in after a 63 last week, but West Coast this week, apparently it's wet over there, and it'll probably still be wet on the weekend. More hit-outs in a good matchup, more tackles for Marshall, gets plenty of the ball regardless. So I think I just need to bring in another sort of top 2 ruck and lock it away so I don't have to deal with sort of any sort of mid-priced rucks anymore, because I tried the sweet thing. It was an utter fail. And thankfully it hasn't cost me too much, but I need to jump off now and bring in Marshall. So I obviously only have max 21 in rounds 14 and 15, so I've got Gorn as well, so I won't have any cover unless I bring in a Luke Jackson, who I'm also thinking about bringing in round 14 to cover those 2 weeks just to get the extra number there. So that's what I might look at doing. So let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you guys are doing with your round 12 trades. Obviously, you have the extra trade this week, so put them down in the comments below. And if you've got any trade questions or captaincy questions or anything, put them in the comments below, and I'll get to those when I can. I have also partnered up with Q Platform, so ask me on Q, so answering a heap of more of your questions there. But these ones can be sort of more in-depth responses. I can give you audio responses, and they're good for sort of, if you're not sure what to do with your trades, you can send through your whole team. You can sort of do, it's all team dependent questions, which could be helpful obviously on the buys, with a lot of questions being team dependent with best 18 and everything. So if you'd like to do that, there is a small fee there. I'll give you a question in-depth response audio, and if I don't get to it within 24 hours, you get your money back, and then you can resubmit the question if you so wish. So if you'd like to do that, link is in the description below, or it is askmeonq.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics, and Q is with a Q and then a U. Yeah, make sure you hit that up if you'd like. Yeah, no watch long this week, unfortunately. I'll be obviously in Melbourne, heading there tomorrow. Watch a couple of footy games, which is nice. Going to the Collingwood Dogs game on Friday. Finally got tickets for that, which is great. And then the Crows and Hawks game on Saturday. Hopefully seeing a Crows win. Wasn't as good the last time went when we lost to Collingwood. So hopefully we get a win there. But yeah, we're back for the pre-lockout chat on the Friday. Obviously me and Tim will be answering all your questions there as well. So make sure you guys tune into that. Might be a little bit shorter. Obviously got to head to the game after. But yeah, make sure you guys tune in there at the normal time of 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Western Standard Time as well. So make sure you guys tune in for that one. Yeah, make sure you smash like on the video. Obviously the goal, if we can, that'd be great if we can hit 250 likes on this video. And then also make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so we can hit 2,400, then 2,500, then go for 3K. So yeah, your support is always very much appreciated. So thanks guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the pre-lockout chat on Friday. So have a happy trading. Enjoy your trades with the 3, and good luck on the Thursday, and we'll chat you on Friday. So I'm out. Cheers.